Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, with the debut tonight of Ken Burns' documentary on cancer, we'll meet a local cancer survivor and hear about Valley-based research to fight the disease. Also tonight, the White House Conference on Aging is being held here in town. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Governor Ducey today signed a bill that bans federal marketplace health care plans that include abortion coverage. The governor says that the bill provides clarity to state law. The bill also mandates that doctors must inform patients that they can reverse the effects of a drug-induced abortion. This despite critics who say that there's no medical evidence behind such a procedure. Also today now, a bill allowing Arizonans to carry guns into public buildings was defeated in the state Senate. The measure would have applied to those with concealed carry permits. The same measure was vetoed 3 times in recent years. Today's decision by the Senate keeps Governor Ducey from having to decide on the issue. And the Senate today defeated another effort to kill Common Core education standards. The defeat comes a week after the governor described legislation eliminating Common Core as unnecessary and instead called for a full review of the standards. A new 3-part Ken Burns documentary on cancer begins tonight on 8 Arizona PBS. In conjunction with the series, we look tonight at local efforts to fight the disease. One of those stories involves the Translational Genomics Research Institute, or TGen. Joining us now is TGen Deputy Director Dr. John Carpton, one of the most respected cancer investigators in the nation. Good to have you here. Welcome to Arizona Horizon.
Thanks. It's great to be here.
The latest in cancer research, this documentary is all-encompassing from history to the future, but at ground zero, from where you are, what's the most exciting thing about cancer research right now?
Well, I think one aspect is that we're really, finally starting to think about how do we personalize clinical management for cancer. So we've heard about personalized medicine, individualized medicine, precision medicine. We even heard the president initiate a new program to really start to get at personalized medicine and how can we really try to treat each individual patient's cancer with the best therapy for that patient. I think the other one is probably, the advancements that we're seeing with the new immunotherapies, where we're actually allowing the patient's immune system the opportunity to do its job and actually fight cancer. The cancer cells will express certain proteins that sort of allow the cells to hide from the immune system. And if we can block that, we can actually allow the T cells, the immune system, actually attack the cancer. And so we're really seeing some amazing outcomes with those immunotherapies. And so for a scientist like me, I'm really excited about how we can take the immune therapies and some of the other therapies that we've developed that are more personalized, begin to combine these modes of treatment so that we can really see, even more amazing outcomes in cancer.
The immunotherapy is fascinating because the results seem pretty startling in a number of cases. Are those durable results? How long do those results, or do we even know?
Yeah, there are patients who've gone out years on those treatments. The toxicities, right? That's what's really important, right? So the toxicities are relatively low with those therapies because it's your own immune system, so that actually provides a benefit. Many patients will not have durable responses from treatment a lot of times because they can't stay on the treatment. Because the toxicities, and so they'll come off treatment, give the cancer an opportunity to grow. But with these therapies, in many cases, the patients are actually able to stay on the treatments, and so we're seeing some pretty long-term outcomes. But again, there are patients who don't necessarily respond to those therapies, so we still have more work to do.
As far as genetics, genome science, those sorts of things, what's the latest?
Oh boy, so I think so this whole aspect of personalized medicine, one of the sort of new approaches we're using, we can actually take a biopsy or a specimen from a patient that includes tumor cells. We can actually sequence the genome of the tumor cells, compare that to the patient's constitutional genome, your normal genome,
right,
and identify cancer-specific markers and mutations that are in that patient's cancer, and then identify treatments to attack those specific driver mutations that are driving that cancer's behavior. And so it's a true sort of realization of applying genome science to clinical management. And this is one of the areas that I think TGen really excels in right now.
Can cancer alter genes, or alter genes, do they invite cancer? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's a sort of a cause and consequence thing, right? So at its most basic essence, cancer is a genetic disease where some type of some factor, right? It could be an intrinsic factor, it could be an extrinsic, sort of will cause a damage to DNA, which then leads to a damaged protein, which then leads to damaged cells, damaged tissue, and disease, right? So if we can understand those underlying events within the cancer, we can learn a lot about the biology of the cancer.
Indeed. So basically you can know whether or not that person, because they smoked, developed cancer. The same person who didn't smoke may never have developed cancer. You look at the genome and say, start asking questions, right?
Absolutely. You know, you talk about smoker versus non-smoker lung cancer. That's a huge area of research, trying to understand, you know, the differences, the molecular differences between the tumors caused by smoking and lung tumors that actually arise without smoking.
Right. As far as how fast all of this knowledge is, it just seems like things are going very fast. Is that how you're seeing it as well?
Absolutely. It's you know, in my career, in my 20 plus some career, I'd say it's the most exciting time, but it's also the most challenging, right? Trying to keep up, trying to continue and keep up with the pace that's that we currently face right now. But it is really exciting. We're seeing so many new things and technologies. Our understanding of biology, it's all of these things are sort of coming together at the right time, sort of an inflection point. And I think that's why we're starting to see, you know, a little bit of an uptick, right, and improvements in outcomes in cancer.
So with that in mind, do you think within, let's say, the next 50 years, will cancer be beaten, or will cancer ever be beaten? Is it such a thing? It's so sly. It moves in so many direct. Can it ever be beaten?
Well, some cancers are already beaten, right? And I think that's one of the things we have to understand. I think, you know, there are wins, right? I think we tend to sort of look at a cancer cure as the totality of cancer,
yeah,
right? But there are certain patients with certain tumor types where we can cure their cancer. So I think we have already gotten there. But as the totality of cancer, I don't know if we'll cure every cancer, but perhaps in some cases we'll turn cancer into more of a chronic disease,
yes,
right? Where we can monitor and manage it over a long period of time, keeping it at bay. It's still there, but we can at least sort of, you know, keep it at bay over a long period of time. Maybe the patient will have complications from something else lately, but
right,
they won't die from their cancer.
Kind of redefines living with cancer.
Absolutely.
All right. It's great to have you here. Thanks for joining us.
Great. Thanks.
Our focus tonight on the fight against cancer continues with a woman who survived chronic myelogenous leukemia, or CML, which was featured in the book Cancer, the Emperor of All Maladies, from which the Ken Burns documentary is based. CML is a rare disease that used to be terminal, but that prognosis has improved greatly thanks to treatment that manages cancer on the genetic level. Pat Elliott of Phoenix is a CML survivor and a patient advocate who speaks about her disease across the globe. Boy, it's good to have you here. Welcome to Arizona Horizon.
It's good Good to be here.
Give us just a quick background of your story with
Sure.
cancer.
Sure. Well, actually, CML is my second cancer. I had breast cancer when I was in my 30s. It was a very different time then. And at that time, the treatments, were the conventional ones: surgery, radiation, chemo, and so forth. Survived it. Went through time. They say after 12 years, don't need to worry about it. Cancer wasn't even on my mind. And I had absolutely no symptoms. I had no idea I had leukemia until a series of events happened, and I got extreme swelling in my feet, which can indicate edema, which can indicate organ failure. It's a slow-growing cancer. It grows chronic leukemias are slow-growing, and so it can take some time before you even know you have it. So I went into the emergency room because edema, as I said, can indicate organ failure, and in the diagnostic process there, they discovered that I had CML, and I was put in the bone marrow transplant center, not for a transplant, but because, to their credit, they said, you have a rare version of a rare disease, and we have nurses specially trained in this, and you'll get the best care there. And then they told me, and by the way, what you have today is treated with a pill. And I said, that's science fiction.
Yeah.
That can't be true.
No kidding.
And to top it all, the hospital, when they took me in, I'm on a gurney, and it says Pod A, Pod B, Pod C. And I went to the science fiction movie about pods.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, this can't be real. Well, it turns out it is real. And it's obviously more complicated than a pill, but it's an oral therapy, a targeted therapy that deals directly with the genetic, it's a translocation that causes the disease. And rather than killing healthy cells, this stops the genetic production of proteins that create cancer cells. Keeps it under control.
My goodness.
The catch is you have to take it for the rest of your life.
Done deal, though. I think that's an agreement on your part, don't you think?
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Your concept of cancer, I know that you had dealt with breast cancer, so obviously you understood what
Yes.
was involved. But your concept of cancer before this diagnosis and how that may have changed now, because it
Yes.
just seems like cancer is changing almost on a daily basis, the care and treatment.
I think that the knowledge about cancer is what's changing. And as we've mapped the human genome, and as we've come to understand the genetic basis, and as we've come to look at understanding that everybody's cancer is different, that two people can have the exact same cancer, but they don't have the exact same cancer. And as Dr. Karpman mentioned, we're headed towards a more personalized approach, so that the goal will be to have a better understanding up front of exactly what type of cancer the patient has, and then exactly what type of targets, if you will, to go after with that cancer. And I would just add that with CML, one of the reasons that it was early on and they were able to do this is because it's only one gene mutation, which is relatively simple. Other cancers have many more mutations that they're dealing with.
So as far as, I know you go out and speak to people and you make public appearances, what do you tell them?
What I learned early on is that people are looking for good news, progress, and hope. And we all know that cancer is a horrid disease. And I think most everybody in their families, friends, somewhere, they have been touched by somebody who has died from this. We are subjected daily almost by advertising about, it's fearful.
Right.
It tells you how awful it is. And people really want to know, is there hope out there, and is something being done? And when I, for example, was diagnosed and I learned about what had been done, and that CML had gone from being 90% basically of all patients getting the disease dying to 90% living, it was like, why isn't this on the front page? Why aren't people hearing this? And I found as I went to different groups and talked to people, they would say the same thing: why aren't we hearing the good news? And I think they want to, and I commend Ken Burns. I know, because I've seen previews, that there will be some very tough stuff in this series. But there's also going to be incredible information about the progress in immunotherapy, other areas, what's been done today.
And I was going to ask you about that, because we've seen some of the previews as well, and it seems odd to say, it seems very hopeful.
It's very
It's a
hopeful.
very, I can only say hopeful is the only word I can use. What do you want folks to take from that film?
I want people to talk about it. You know, when you know, in my career, I've been a visible public person, and yet when I said I had leukemia or people talked about it, they assumed I was going to die, and that shut off conversations, and people went away. I want people to feel comfortable talking about cancer and asking people about it and sharing with each other and working together to go forward on this. You know, there's too many people I see that are not all that outgoing. It's a major burden to them, and what they need is a friend. What they need is people that will talk with them and comfort them and be there for them and not be afraid of them. You know, so let's get it out on the table and let's talk about it, and let's help our neighbors, friends, family, whoever may have this disease, and make it better for them.
Well, congratulations on that message. Congratulations on your good health. And
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Expand your horizon with the Arizona Horizon website. To get there, go to azpbs.org. Click on the Arizona Horizon tab at the top of the screen. Once there, you can access many features, watch interviews by clicking on the video button. You can also find out what's on Arizona Horizon for the coming week. If you would like an RSS feed, a podcast, or want to buy a video, that's all on the website too. Want to learn about specific topics like immigration or the legislature? You can visit our special web sections. Show your support for Arizona Horizon at azpbs.org/Arizona Horizon.
The White House Conference on Aging will be held at the Phoenix Convention Center tomorrow. The conference is held every 10 years to promote and advance ideas to help improve the lives of older Americans. Here now is National AARP President Janine English to talk about the conference and its mission. Also joining us is Nora Super, Executive Director of the 2015 White House Conference on Aging. Good to have you both here. Thank you for joining us. Very quickly, from where AARP stands, what's this all about?
This is about making sure that we have a lot of input into what healthy aging is and what people need as they grow older. So healthy aging, as well as long-term care, looking at caregiving, and looking at the financial resources that are necessary for people as they're getting older, so that they can remain independent and live with dignity and purpose.
And every 10 years now we have these White House conferences on aging. How would they change? Does the focus change over the years? Talk to us about that.
Sure. As you said, we've had a White House Conference on Aging every 10 years since 1961. And as you might imagine, we've changed a bit as a country since 1961. And the number of people turning 65 in this country is unprecedented. So we're really at a point in our country's history of looking at how to change and prepare for an aging society. We try to do that with each White House Conference on Aging, looking at each issue, and we do change the focus in the topic areas.
Some of the issues, some of the focuses, some of the topic areas, what can we expect?
For this year's conference, we're focusing on 4 topic areas: retirement security, healthy aging, long-term supports and services, and elder justice. Those are the 4 topics that are, what I consider the 4 pillars of the conference that really provide the foundation for where we're going.
You've both mentioned now healthy aging. What does that mean?
Well, healthy aging means a lot of things to a lot of different things to different people, but it means making sure that you're getting the exercise that you need, making sure that you're eating properly, and making sure that you are connected to your community. Because we know that if you're not connected to your community, and you're not eating well and you're not exercising, you can't have a healthy life as you age. So that's really crucial.
As far as, and again, some of these issues like financial exploitation and abuse and these sorts of things, are we seeing more of that than we had in the past?
I think we are, because there are new ways to have scams with all the electronic devices that people have, the information that they put on. There's ways for people to take advantage of older people that we didn't have before. So I think as we have that increased technology, sometimes unfortunately it can lead to a greater risk.
You know, we're finding it at AARP. We have actually a online scam program that you can look at and see what the scams are. And we're finding huge numbers of people dialing into that and connecting into that. My own mother was scammed, the grandparent scam, as well as my mother-in-law, who's 95. I mean, it's throughout the country we're finding people involved in these scams. And it's something that people, older people need to be cognizant of and recognize that it's prevalent.
So how do you get that message out there?
Well, part of it is having this White House Conference on Aging, and we're going across the country. Phoenix is our second stop, and inviting people throughout the community to talk about these issues, have a national conversation about many of these issues, and raise awareness of, as Janine said, so people can be on the lookout for these types of things and know how to avoid it.
What about things like just engaging in productive work, being active, being interested, being engaged?
So important. And many people want to continue to work, but the truth is that we have a lot of age discrimination, so people can't work. We know that if you lose your job between the age of 50 and 60, you have a 9% chance of finding a new job. Over 60, you have a 6% chance. People want to work, and we need to recognize that there is a lot of value there, a lot of wisdom there, and they should be able to work. But for those people that can't work, we also need to make sure that there are some protections. Social Security needs to remain strong as a foundation, but it can't do everything. So people need to be saving for their retirement as well.
And again, back to the idea of just basically participating in community life, engaging in what's going around you. Thoughts there. I mean, it used to be that people would be flocking to retirement areas and locked areas and 55 and all. These things, people want to stay home. They want to stay in their communities.
Well, absolutely. People are engaged more than ever. Since I've been in Phoenix, I've had the opportunity to look at some great programs that engage older volunteers with schools, with the homeless population, with other places where not only as volunteers, they find so much more meaning and purpose in their lives, and giving back to the community, they find that they also receive a lot.
Please.
We have actually at AARP an age-friendly community initiative where we're working with all different cities throughout the country to make sure that as they develop, they are age-friendly. You shouldn't have to be an Olympic sprinter to get across the street before the light changes, right? And that isn't just for older people, that's for people with strollers as well.
Sure.
So we need to make sure that communities allow people to live and age in place.
With that in mind, common misperceptions of aging.
Common misperception is that people turn 65 and that they want to just live on the golf course and not give back to their community, or that they're frail and elderly. People are vibrant. People are living longer than ever before. The segment you had just before on cancer just shows how many advances we've had in medicine that help people live longer. But we need to change the way we think about getting older in America.
Indeed, and because baby boomers change everything. From being young to middle-aged to now getting up in years. How is that changing the equation?
Well, we're seeing that 10,000 people are turning 65 every day in this country. And we also know that we have this huge boom in the number of people that are turning 80, and it's getting bigger and bigger. So it's changing what we're thinking of as aging. It's also changing how we look at delivering long-term services and supports. And we're talking about caregivers. We need to make sure that we support the family members that are helping to care for those folks that are in their 80s, so that they don't harm their own health while they're caring for their loved ones.
So, what do we take from the White House Conference on Aging? What do you want everyone to take who attends?
We want everyone to see a vision and a future for the next decade of aging, what it means to be an older American as an opportunity, as a positive thing, not looking at aging as something to avoid, but an opportunity to use your experience and add value to continue to add value to our society.
All right, very good. Good to have you both here. Thanks for joining
Thank
us.
you.
Thanks so much.
Tuesday on Arizona Horizon, former NATO Ambassador Kurt Volker joins us for our monthly discussion on foreign affairs, and we'll hear about a study on the cause of car accidents involving teenagers. That's at 5:30 and 10 on the next Arizona Horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.